Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. My name is Emmanuel, and I am with the Delaware Developmental Disabilities Council. Today, we have a very exciting episode that I am super excited about. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to Terry Hancherick and Donna Marie King. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, we are going to be talking about something very important that the council has took on as an initiative to bring awareness about health and wellness when it comes to people with disabilities. So there is a website called Live Your Best Life, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, but before we get into that, starting with you, Terry, can you give the audience a little bit of who you are, your background, and how we got to where we are today?
Sure. My name is Terry Hancherick. I'm chair of the Advocacy and Outreach Committee of the DD Council. I'm the mom of a 33-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy. And I'm also a co-founder of EPIC, It's Endless Possibilities in the Community. And it's a community program supporting people with disabilities in their health and wellness goals at the YMCA.
Thank you so much. And Donna Marie?
Thank you, Emmanuel. I'm Donna Marie King, and I am one of the principals of SAGE Strategy and Communication. And we do a lot of marketing and community outreach programs and strategic programs for primarily nonprofit organizations. And it's just been my great pleasure to work on this project with the committee. I think it's incredibly important, and really hoping that people provide us with lots of information that we can include on the website.
Wow, thank you. We're going to get into a little bit of more of that later, how someone can provide information, provide input, because it's something that, based on what I read and what I know, the council is always trying to grow that website as a large resource for individuals to get all their health and wellness information, a one stop shop kind of thing. So thank you for sharing that. As a reminder, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an episode of the Let's Talk About It video series. So Terry, my first question is for you. Can you tell me where the idea came from for the Live Your Best Life website?
So we have a lot of fun engaging people on the Advocacy and Outreach Committee, family members, people with disabilities, and some agency people. And a lot of our topics are very serious, and what we advocate for are some life-changing things that are very serious. But we decided we really wanted to do something fun, but was also, very important for people with disabilities. We know that a lot of people with disabilities live a very sedentary lifestyle. Um, there isn't a lot for them to do. The community is not always set up for them, and that's where they belong. That's where they want to be. They don't want to be in special programs. They don't want to be set aside from everyone else. My daughter's one of six, and when the other five go out and they do things, and they do things in the community, and they have friends, and she wants to do just that. She wants to be a part of it. And although she's nonverbal and uses a wheelchair, we can accommodate for that, and we can do things out there that she would really like to do. And that's been an issue for people with disabilities for a long time. And finding those things have been very difficult. I mean, many many of us families, the way we find them is by word of mouth and talking with the other family members. And hey, there's this program over here, and it includes supports for people with disabilities, and your child would really like this. But there was nothing formal set up that people could go to and say, I realize my daughter really likes to do art. Is there an art program out there, or is there an exercise program? So I think just having it all in one place for families just makes it so much easier. I mean, we know families are stressed, especially now, and they're trying to find things for their sons and daughters to do, and it's just takes some of that pressure and some of that work off of them, so they can just go on the internet and find a certain category that their son or daughter's interested in, and hey, we didn't know about this, and then share it with other parents. So it's really a very helpful database and website that Don is coming up with.
Wow, wow. So Terry, I heard you mention, sedentary life. Um, have you seen, you mentioned your daughter going to the YMCA and your nonprofit that you have. Have you seen a change in your daughter being able to go out in the community and to participate amongst peers? Have you seen a change in her, personality, attitude? Have you seen any changes in her in regards to that?
I think we see a lot of changes when people with disabilities are able to be more active than they've been. I think they're happier, they're healthier. They look forward to things. They have somewhere to go to, that they belong. They belong in the community. And so she's part of the YMCA and that group of members, whether it's part of the EPIC program, which blends into the YMCA, or part of the entire YMCA program. Just having somebody walk by you and saying, "Hi, Bridget, how's your day?" Or, "It's good to see you," instead of sitting home and not having that. And I think she's healthier. She's able to, she's spending more time standing up and being eye level with friends that there. She has made friends, and people are more drawn to her now. I remember going to the Y a couple of years ago, and I had Bridget there, and somebody was on a treadmill, and their daughter, and she was only like 4 years old, and she said to her mom, "Hey, look, what is she doing here?" Like, she didn't have any idea. And now that it's been a couple of years and people with disabilities, we support them one-on-one, and most of the time, and sometimes they want to be like with their friends and do things, play basketball with their friends and all. They don't want somebody right next to them. But the nicest thing, we have some doctors from Christiana that come in and tour maybe once a month or once every couple of months. And then we have some other people come and tour. And I think that the nicest thing that I see is that I will tour them through the Y, and we walk through the gym, and we'll walk past the treadmills, and I'll wait till we get to the end. And then I'll look at them and say, "You didn't notice, did you?" And they said, "Notice what?" I said, "Those are our members over there on the treadmill. And that is their support person on the next treadmill. And they're having a conversation. And you didn't notice that they weren't part of the general population of the Y. They just fit in so nicely." And then the last doctor we had, it was fun because we're doing a lot of one-on-one things and group things where, they were playing cornhole, and they were hysterical. The people that we support were just so funny. And this doctor just spent like a couple of hours with us laughing hysterically at, how much fun everyone was having and how much they were a part of a group. So I think it's meant a lot to people to have somewhere to go. It's all about, I've always said, it's all about opportunity. And Donna Marie's given us that opportunity, and then the support. So if we have the support there and the opportunity, people can now be a part of the community, and we need to set up the community so that they can be a part of it.
Wow, wow, thank you, Terry. You touched on so many different things, and when you talk about like um, individuals being part of things, statistics have shown when people are involved and part of that community and have a reason to live, to be quite honest, that they live a lot longer, and I think the benefit of having the ability to go to a website like Live Your Best Life um, to find that information. And I can imagine not only as an individual with a disability, but as a parent, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So having the ability to find the information, to realize what's available, to even get somebody out of the house or activity. Of course, it's kind of hard to do that now. But even the idea, if you look back several years ago, there wasn't even the idea of someone being in the community other than getting on the quote unquote special school bus, you know, that identified that we had secret abilities. Other than that, it wasn't no going to a Boys and Girls Club or going to a YMCA. So it's really good to have something such as that website to refer people to. And thank you for that.
And don't
Donna,
forget what it does for families, because families also need a break. So if your child can go, your son or daughter can go somewhere for 2 or 3 hours, and you can go shopping or go sit back and do what you want, it's a great thing. So sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't want to forget about
no. No, I think that's perfect. And being a parent myself, my son's 14, and now it's even harder with COVID. You know, typically I could say, go play, go outside. Uh, I don't care if you come in smelling like the outdoor. Just give me a moment. Go shoot the basketball. But that alone, I think being able to sit on the couch and read a book, or even if you were to go home and watch TV, just to know that your loved one is in a safe environment to get away from you as a parent, just so they can start to grow in their own identity and make their own choices. Health and wellness is very crucial to individuals living longer. And I think, not to mention the Olmstead Act and people having the ability to now live in the community. Now we don't want to just live in the community. We want to be part of the community. And I think, something like this website gives you the ability to be part of the community and not just, existing because somebody put a nice little home, in the community, made it look all pretty. But are you really a part of it? And I think the website gives you that ability to research what's available. Uh, Donna Marie, we keep mentioning this website. Can you share like some of the information that individuals can find,
Sure.
such as categories or, whatever you think would be beneficial to the audience? Can you just give us a little bit of what's there?
Sure. We broke it into a few different categories to make it easier to search for things. So there's, physical fitness, recreation, and that could include art classes or dance classes or really anything, music lessons. We also included a category for camps because a lot of parents are searching for camps, well, in normal times, to send their kids to. And we also have a section on nutrition. Um, Nutrition is a really big part of staying healthy, as you know, and a lot of times research has found that people don't eat nutritious food because they don't know what that is. They don't know how to shop for it. They don't know how to prepare it. So the hope is that we can gradually begin to incorporate that kind of information into the website. And I would like to say that the things that are listed in the website are just meant to be a starting point. I mean, there's no way that one person could know right off the bat all of the things that are available. So our hope is really that people will look at the website and share with us, as Terry mentioned, as they shared with other parents or other people, something that they found that was, a really good program. And some of the programs um, are things that you can do as a family. Some of them are things that individuals can do. There are things for different age groups. And there's also just information about um, research that has shown how beneficial health and wellness is, not just to the developmentally disabled community, but to everybody. So why shouldn't everybody be able to participate in those kinds of activities?
Right. Wow, wow. You know, I'm a little older now, but I even wish that something like this was, around years ago. You mentioned people eating correctly or eating out of all of the major food groups, which you kind of learned about food groups in school, but they don't even go into the magnitude of how your body breaks down certain foods and
Right.
how your body responds to nutrition and in regards to the longer you cook a vegetable, the lesser the nutrition is and the things like that. So, especially when it comes to people with disabilities, and I'm sure Terry can attest to this, but we're already faced with a lot of different health concerns. Even people with IDD, there's a thing called the fatal four.
Mhm.
And those are the most four common things that people with IDD can pass away from, and bowel obstruction being one of them. So
Mhm.
I can imagine if someone were to eat correctly or exercise or even mental health. I think we look at fitness as get up and moving around. Well, statistics have shown that people with disabilities are at a higher risk for social isolation. You can literally wear yourself sick.
Mhm.
So if you're sitting at home or going to a day treatment center, and not to discredit them, but if you're around people that kind of look like you, act like you, with no other exposure, then you kind of start to fall in those same habits, and that's why I think it's important, as we have mentioned through this conversation, that even if someone has the ability to be part of the Y or be part of the neighborhood, there's a lot of neighborhoods who have rec centers or treadmill facilities and
Mhm.
things like that. And I think when we talk about like things like the Fatal Four, which we have a video coming up about that, but the ability to know that you can kind of combat or eventually eliminate the Fatal Four just by somebody being exercised or being exposed to that kind of thing. So thank you for sharing that. But you also mentioned hoping that people would provide information.
Mhm.
We know that advertisement, the cheapest advertisement, but the most beneficial advertisement is by word of mouth.
Yeah.
People talk. Especially when they're having challenges or concerns or they're researching something.
Absolutely.
People are seeking. So how can someone um, provide their findings or kind of put you in a direction? Hey, Donna Marie, or you might want to check this out. How can they do that for those that are watching?
It's very easy. We actually have a tab on every page on the website that you can just hit, and it sends an email directly to me telling me, what it is you've discovered, or giving me information. It doesn't even have to be complete information. You could just send me an email that says, I heard about this program at such and such, and then I'll do the research and get all the particulars together and you know call the people and see what they offer and what they have. So um, we hope as people look at the website and discover their own programs or activities that they'll share that information so we can add it to the website. We really just want it to be a collection of all of these opportunities for the disabled community to be part of the community. And I also just want to go back because you mentioned something about mental health. There is some information on the website about several studies that have been done showing that when people in the disability community are isolated, as you might suspect, they're much more prone to things like depression and anxiety. And, there have been all kinds of studies about how physical exercise and just being out in the community can help alleviate that. So that's another really important component to making sure that people have the opportunities to participate in all of these kinds of programs.
Your enthusiasm and your connection to this website, you can see it come across. Your passion to share this information, to make people aware, to kind of really build something that's not been built yet. This physical fitness and health and wellness has always been a challenge for individuals with disabilities. But I'm curious to know, based on what you have researched and what you have found, what really connected you to this project to say, you know what, here's an RFP. I'm reading it. I'm gonna go for it. What really made you say, let me see if I can do this, and why?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Well, I have had some experience um, with um, the need for any kind of activity or physical fitness with not just the disability community, but the advantages, for instance, that it provides for children in early education. And I also had the opportunity several years ago to be part of the marketing team for the 5 a Day campaign. I don't know if you remember that, but and one of the interesting things about that, one of the projects I worked on was we went into supermarkets all across the country to promote 5 a Day. And what we discovered was people really weren't opposed to eating 5 fruits and vegetables a day. They simply just did not have any idea how to incorporate that into their diet. And they had no idea what a serving size was. And, so we kind of kept modifying the program as we went and adapting to what people needed. And we started doing cooking demonstrations and giving out recipes. And, so I just have always been interested in communities and people being part of a community and everybody having equal opportunities. And it just seemed like a good project to sink my teeth into.
Well, I think you, and no pun intended, we're talking about nutrition and food, and you said sink your teeth into it. So that's how I know you are right at home. You're right at home, and as I said, you can see it come across. And as we are facing this worldwide pandemic, um, this pandemic took everybody by storm. When it first hit the news, people thought it was going to be over in a couple weeks, a couple months. Um, you know, Now people are working from home and people can't go anywhere. Is there information on the website in regards to the coronavirus? Because that's such a big thing right now. We mentioned earlier, mental health and things like that. Coronavirus kind of put a stamp on everything and said, hold up, wait a minute, stop the world. So is there information for people to go and find to kind of, make them aware or other resources in regards to the coronavirus on this website?
Yes, there is um, a section right on the homepage of the website that links you to all kinds of resources and information about COVID-19 and suggestions about things to do. And in fact, I'm getting ready to put some more resources for the pandemic on there. And I also, along those lines, just want to mention um, one of the things that I'm starting to do is I'm trying to contact some of the um, facilities and activities to see if they're offering virtual programming while we're stuck at home. I mean, a lot of exercise programs all over the place are doing that. A lot of recreational programs are doing virtual programming. So I'm hoping to get in touch with as many people as I can who are listed to see if they offer that, and then kind of add a tag, onto their listing.
And you mentioned going doing things virtually, and as we talk about health and wellness and not being able to go nowhere, I think it's even more important now because before the pandemic, everybody wanted to work from home. Like that was the thing. I wish I could work from home. I wish I could work from home. Well, now it's like, oh my god, I'm at home all day long. I'm about 10 feet away from the kitchen. So now I'm packing on these, you know, pandemic pounds. But I can't go nowhere to work them off.
Well, not only that, you're working at home, plus your kids are going to school virtually. So they're sitting right next to you. I mean, everybody needs some relief.
And I think for people with disabilities, and Terry, you can chime in here, but I think for people with disabilities, social isolation has always been a challenge.
Mhm.
But what happened with COVID-19 kind of magnified. It finally made the world an even playing field. For people. So people with disabilities have always learned how to adapt. So when we got the notification to work from home, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I can do my best work. We started several projects based on being home.
Yeah.
But at first, some of my coworkers was like, oh my God, how do I do this? And I think that the benefit of being able to connect virtually,
Mhm.
whether it's through Zoom, Google Meets, they have so many different ones. You think back a year ago, Zoom existed, but it wasn't popular. But you bring up a good point to be able to virtually connect. So you mentioned the way people can share information. So I'm thinking about sending over some recipes or
Great.
some quick minute here's a good quick salad, 3 or 4 ingredients or less. And I think with kids going to school from home and some of your parents are not cooking as much because everything is on go. We're on go. We're trying to go to the store and get hand sanitizer and go get toilet paper. All of those things. So I think it might be good to have some quick recipe uh, guides or recipes for people to use. Before we go, we mentioned this mysterious website. Can you give people the address to this website that people can go to and spend all night on there. God, reading all the information. Can you get that website to us?
Sure. It's www.live-your-best-life.org.
So liveyourbestlife.org with all the dashes in between each word.
Yes.
And if you put all those together, you got a well-balanced live your life and be good at it.
That's right.
Well, can I just mention a couple things? Like, first of all, I wanted to say Epic is still in business because the Y is still open, and because
Yes.
we're not in one room and we're able to safely follow all of the. My daughter's not there because she won't wear a mask, so she's not able to go, and she shouldn't, for her own protection and everyone else's. But the people that are there that will wear a mask and can be going to different parts of the gym, and we can be very safe with them. And thank God so far everything's gone well until the gyms maybe have to close at some point. We'll see. But I also wanted to mention about nutrition. I wanted to mention about just a couple of obstacles out in the community. Nutrition, if you live in a group home or you live at home with your family, you're doing either one, there's usually someone else out there buying your food. So what you're eating is whatever is in the home. So
Right.
I think we really have to teach people and mentor them and teach them about what is nutritionally good for them, and how to start making grocery lists, and maybe go to this when it's safe again, go to the store with who's ever the caretaker in their home, or if they're family, or if they live on their own, teaching them how to go up. And I think these are important skills for people with disabilities, because we're always doing for them, and
Right.
not what we should always be doing. We had a young man in our nonprofit at one point that he went home for Christmas for 2 weeks and he gained 30 pounds, which sounds amazing, but he honestly did, because he wasn't working out anymore, and
Right.
they were moving. They had a lot of soda in the house, and he sat and drank soda all day long. When we came back, it wasn't easy to get. It took a long time, and it set him back really far. But other people were buying the food that was in there. It was available to him, so that's what he ate or drank, and he didn't have any physical activity. We also have to look at medications. A lot of people with disabilities are on medications, especially the psychotropic medications that are causing a lot of weight gain. So a lot of that isn't their fault. It's the medications they're on. But there's a lot to consider. The other piece of it is the exercise piece. If we're talking about fitness, is that we need to make sure that it would be nice if all of the gyms, and the Y has done this in all of their Ys. They have a oh my gosh, a harness that comes from the ceiling for people to
Yeah.
walk on the treadmills, so that they're safe if they're steady, if their walk isn't steady. And they have a lot of adapted equipment, and some of the other gyms have that too. So that needs to happen more. We have to ask for more and say that we need this gym as well as everyone else. We need to have adapted equipment, because we want to exercise. People with disabilities want to exercise, but they need adapted equipment to do that. So
Good
I just
point.
wanted to mention those couple of things.
Good point.
Wow. Well, go
I
ahead.
just want to jump in and say also that we do stress on the website that before you begin any program, you should consult with your doctor. We don't want people to just go off and do
Absolutely.
things and harm themselves. So
Absolutely. We have a form signed from the doctor that says they can do this, this, and this,
Right.
because there could be some contraindications. I mean, we may stand someone up in a stander and they might not have stood for years. We can't do that.
Right.
We have to make sure that can they use the pool? Is it okay for them to be in water? Those kinds of things.
Wow. I didn't even think of like the because you got the activity, but then there's also the pre-activity of checking with your doctor. Consider the medication you're on. Some medication makes people heart rate go up or go down. So to think about all of that, I think it's very beneficial, and especially from the like thinking about people with disabilities. Terry, you mentioned like going to the grocery store. even if people can't go to the grocery store, I think teaching them the proper portion size and things like that, because now you have Grubhub and you have Walmart delivery and all those different things, which is great. Which is great. Most people look at it as convenience. Most people with disabilities look at it as, oh, this is accessible.
Right.
You know where everybody else looking at it like a perk. We look at it like you know a necessity. So I think with Grubhub and all the markets that will shop for you and things like that, so we can teach individuals how to get online and you know that you can have chocolate in moderation.
Mhm.
But look at the bag of salad. Look at the even the dressing that you know you think of a dressing, you think you're gonna put it on a salad, you automatically think it's really good for you. So you gotta flip it over. You look at the sodium the calories and things like that. I know personally because I'm a big ranch dressing kind of guy. I put ranch on just about everything. But when you look at the back of the bottle, it's like, oh my gosh, like all the sodium. So I would like to see in the next future, you know, like couple years, that we put the nutritional facts on the front of the bottle and not the back of the bottle, because who really picks it up and says, "Oh, let me look at this." You don't really do that. So I think having a
Right.
way
And
to
also, it's frequently really, really small type. So,
because they don't want you to see it. They don't want you to see
right.
it because
Well, you bring up an interesting point. I saw a special on PBS several years ago about nutrition, and one of the points they made was that a tablespoon of ketchup has more calories than a candy bar, more
yes.
sugar and more calories.
Oh, I like that.
Uh, well, this is a great conversation, and again, I want to thank you both for joining me. Um, I'm looking forward to watching the website grow, and really putting information out there for people to learn. And I think, Terry, I don't know, maybe we could take this back to the committee, but I think health and wellness needs to be a conversation that we continue to grow. And I, not to mention, even if the pandemic were to disappear tomorrow, the after effects of COVID, the after effects of going out in the community. And I think, when you mentioned teaching people, once we can teach somebody, that's what we really did what we came here to do, because we're not always going to be around. So, and that's a big pill to swallow. But if we can teach people, not show them, not do it for them, but teach them that you can drink that Pepsi, but after you drink it, you might want to drink a bottle of water or not. You get a 12 pack, don't drink it in 2 days. Let it last over 12 days or one a day, or look at the. They say diet's not good for diet soda's not good for you either. But look at the alternatives, and I think people will do better when they know better.
Mhm.
And it sounds like that this is what the website is trying to do: make people aware so they can do better and know better.
So they can
Again,
self-determine their own healthy life.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining me again. If you have not already, please make sure you subscribe and like our video. Leave us a comment. We're curious to know what you think about this episode. But we also want to hear your healthy tips and tricks that I can pass on to Donna Marie.
Yeah.
She is anxious to work with the community. So we want to hear your ideas. make sure you leave us a comment. Until next time, my name is Emmanuel, and I am with the Delaware Developmental Disabilities Council. And this has been another episode of Let's Talk About It. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.